wire thefts occurring, because when that happens, everybody's affected by it. And it's unfortunate that this happened at a sports facility center, the DPR Tees and softball field. Mm-hmm. And I'm an advocate for youth sports. I mean, if you can get the youth involved in sports, you're keeping them out of trouble. You're setting them up for personal values where life skills are being taught. Mm-hmm. So, it is important. It affects everybody.
Now, one thing I've always wanted to ask you and your colleagues at GPD is, there is that rule about, people can get in trouble for receiving stolen goods. What should happen if somebody tries to pawn off, because copper wire admittedly isn't something that most of us just have, in great supply. So what if a spindle or, a great length of copper wire shows up and somebody says, hey, would you like to purchase this or anything? How can they report it to you guys and make sure that, justice is done?
You can call the nearest precinct and everything. Not everybody's going to have that gauge of copper wire. That's
industrial strength.
It's industrial strength, absolutely. And your spidey senses or your human judgment and anything should tell you, you better do something right, or you better make the right choice, because once you commit to that, you're already in, you're aiding and abetting a crime in itself. You're allowing you're permitting the crime to continue further, rather than you taking actions and saying, I think this is something illegal, I should report it. Mm-hmm. But if you continue the process of purchasing it and reselling it at a value higher than that, you're actually contributing to the crime.
I like how you said spidey sense. Stan Lee would definitely agree with you.
Hey, we use it in police work to keep ourselves alive, and it really does help it when you're faced with that gut feeling, intuition always helps. And if you make the right choice, you're going to be better off, because not only in copper wires, there's restitution that you have to pay. There's also, jail time, most especially jail time. And you're pretty much stealing from the entire community. Like I said, you're stealing from a sports facility. And who uses a sports facility other than the kids, the youth, and of course, people who, intake in that sort of recreational activity. So, make better choices.
All right, let's find out more details about this latest crime of the week.
On Wednesday, the 30th of December at 1:30 p.m., Department of Parks and Recreational officers entertained a theft of property that occurred at the newly renovated Tees and softball fields. Now, according to the report, both the lower and the upper softball fields had lights installed since October in anticipation for the final completion of the renovation. Now, on Tuesday, the 29th of December, DPR sports coordinators were making arrangements to utilize the field for a night event, only to discover that the lights were not working. An assessment was then done on the 30th of December, in which it was discovered that both the upper and lower softball fields had their copper wires missing from within the power junction. Now, the Guam Crime Stoppers is asking the community for their help relative to this theft that occurred. If you have any information about this crime or any other crime, please call Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. That's 477-4357. You can also send a text to 486-HELP. That's 486-4357. You can also submit information of a crime through our webpage at guam.crimestoppersweb.com or call the Guam Police Department at 475-8615, 6 or 7. Guam Crime Stoppers wants to remind the public that we do not use caller ID and you do not have to leave your name. You can receive a cash reward of up to $1,000 if the information provided leads to the arrest and conviction for the person or persons responsible for this crime or any other crime.
Officer Tapao, I've known him for years. I never knew you were that hardcore of a comic book geek. But
yeah, Marvel and DC, man, always the best.
Well, continuing the Marvel metaphor and everything, with great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have to do to make sure that, that copper wire, which is always going to be sought after by criminals, because